you're the apple of my eye. Girl, I never loved one like you.
Man, oh man, you're my best friend. I scream it too. There's nothing that, there ain't nothing that I need. Oh, let me go home. Home is wherever I'm with you. Oh, let me go home. Home is wherever I'm with you.
We went to serve and to learn.
We went to work together and grow professionally.
We went to love and make a difference.
Every morning for clinic, we took a bumpy bus ride to a rural church that opened its doors to our chaos. We bustled in with suitcases full of medications and supplies and quickly pulled together makeshift stations: intake, vitals, providers, pharmacy, and counseling. Anywhere from a few curious kids to 300 eager patients would be awaiting our arrival under the tent outside the building. The church pastor set up a list, and upon being called, the patient would progress from station to station.
At intake, an interpreter and a student would work through the basics like name, age, gender, and chief complaint. Then the patient was led to vitals, where students would take blood pressure, temperature, pulse, and respirations. The patient would then be led to a provider, where a medical student, an interpreter, and another Mercer admission student would communicate through the interpreter to develop a differential diagnosis and devise a treatment plan. Meanwhile, the medical professors are always supervising or available for any advice. Embarking on the Mercer admission journey, we all entered with full hearts, ready to serve others and make a difference in the lives of the people in Cambodia. Filled with love, we touched people, carried people, prayed for people, and welcomed people into our lives with all the warmth we had to give. Yet we felt the heartache of sending away patients that we are unable to treat. A woman with breast cancer, a young boy with cleft palate, a stroke patient, an elderly man with congestive heart failure. Our hearts were willing, but often treatments weren't always accessible. Still, each patient walked away smiling and grateful for the small acts of kindness we showed them. Although we learned what it meant to feel helpless, the Cambodian people taught us an important lesson. Often, sincere love and care for the lives of others can do more for the heart than any medicine we could give. Mercer admission gave me a new perspective. It reminded me that with each person I interact with, I have the potential to touch their lives, and that gratitude and kindness speak more than 1,000 words.
Cambodia's culture shock took many of us by surprise. The traditional Khmer beliefs, the basic health education, and the general way of life of the Khmer often left us in disbelief. Even though we treated over 1,500 patients at clinic, we knew our presence was only temporary. To really begin to alleviate health issues, the people of Cambodia needed basic health education and awareness, such as diet and hygiene.
Traditional medicinal beliefs such as coining were common among society. This practice included rubbing coins on the sick person in order to get rid of a bad spirit that made them sick. As we witnessed this practice occurring one clinic day, most of us watched in wonder, thinking, do they really think this will help? It looks so painful. But this is their culture. This is their custom. This is their belief. The realization that this practice actually occurred took some time to get used to. But who are we to shun their traditional beliefs, even when we know that scientifically their treatments have little merit?
Even though we have numerous differences in culture, in some ways, I wish we could take a slice of their way of living back home with us. The Khmer way of life is slow and peaceful. If one was not working in the rice fields, much of the day was spent resting in hammocks and visiting with family. Superficially, they appeared to have very little. However, in some ways, they seemed to have life figured out. There is no way to truly describe Cambodia's culture without actually experiencing it. Never have I encountered such a loving, welcoming, trustworthy, and grateful group of people.
Our work at Clinic wouldn't have been possible without the help of our translators. Yet, even so, we still face problems correctly grasping every situation that arose with a patient.
We learned in class prior to the trip about the Hmong culture in the book, The Spirit Catches You and You Fall Down, and the language barriers faced when one family moved to America. For example, the book stated that the recommended Hmong translation for parasite is 24 words long, and even on the rare occasions when there is a perfect verbatim translation, there's no guarantee that either side actually understood the other. This limitation also proved true in our clinics in Cambodia. Yet, with all the sincerity in our hearts, we confronted every challenge and realized that no barrier was too big for all the love we had to give.
Although our mission statement says we come to provide medical care in rural, underserved areas of Cambodia, we also come selfishly to learn more about ourselves or to be changed. Crossing cultures, changing lives. I always thought that meant that although surely we had much to gain from the trip, we would be changing mostly their lives. Cambodia proved me wrong. I do think we did good work and made some difference to these people, but the vast majority of the life-changing was on our part. Mercer on Mission has allowed me medical experience not available to me in the States, but more importantly, multiple opportunities to rise to the challenge of who I can be versus who I am. The drugs we gave our patients are life-saving, or at least life-comforting, but at most, the prescriptions we gave will last a month. Idealistically, the education we provided our patients will last much longer. However, I know I still walked away with more.